Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today on the program Healthy Living. I'm Adesuwa Osa Uwagie. We're going to be looking at you and your kidneys today on the program. It's not World Kidney Day, no, but what is happening in our society today is giving a lot of us cause for concern. The other day I was at the emergency ward in UBTH and nearly everybody on the bed had issues with kidney, and it is really ravaging our young ones. You know, gone are those days when we used to think that, oh, this particular ailment is for the old, this particular ailment is when you are above 60 thereabout. But now it is like everybody's business. And so the earlier we deal with it, the better for all of us. If it's not affecting you, it's affecting somebody close to you, it's affecting somebody that you know, maybe somebody on your street. And of course, as a human being, you will have some compassion for that person. So today we're going to be looking at societal and environmental impact on your kidneys. Okay, and I have somebody here to talk about this. I'm so excited to be introducing him today. He's a man with so more than 30 or 50, if I'm not exaggerating, certificates. Okay, so let's leave all of that now. Join me as I make welcome Ebima Clifford Okundaye. Is a professor of clinical medicine from the University of Houston College of Medicine in the US and is currently consulting nephrologist, Premier Kidney Clinic in Houston. Happy to have you join us today.
Thank you, Adesuwa.
It's been a while, yes.
Yeah,
all right, doctor, we want to look at social and environmental impacts on kidney failure, because a lot of persons know that, yes, there is kidney failure. And some may know causes, some may not know. But let's start with what kidney failure is, or kidney disease is.
So kidney disease is when there is any damage, or whether it's structural, meaning there is something that is physically killing cells in your kidney, okay, or it's more functional, where the cells are not dying, but they are not able to actually do their work. And so based on the level of the kidney disease, you get to the terminal stage, where we call kidney failure. And typically, chronic kidney disease, we have it generally classified into 5 stages. Stage 1, where there is just slight damage, okay, then stage 2, then stage 3, and stage 4 and stage 5, where your kidney function is working less than 15%, you know, 1/5.
So what is supposed to?
And that is when we say the person is in end-stage renal disease, or what we call kidney failure. There are some cases of people that may be sick from any other thing, or maybe have taken some drugs that can shut down their kidney temporarily for maybe a few days to weeks, and okay, that we call acute kidney failure. So in those cases, maybe about 50% of them might recover. So these are people that they have normal kidney function before, and then something happened, and then it goes down so quickly. Then those ones, there's a 50% or slightly more chance, depending on their age, of the kidney bouncing back. But the kidney never really get back to where it was before, because sometimes what you've lost, you've lost. But some of the kidney cells that are dying but have not completely died may still be able to work more. Okay. But we don't usually talk so much about that, because that can happen anytime. But the one that we are more interested in is those slow progressive damage that takes over 3 months, that damage the kidney, where it just slowly keep going down. And when that happens, where the people develop kidney failure from that, usually it's never recovering.
Okay, let's look at kidney disease, kidney failure, you know, because we use it interchangeably without really knowing which is which. So when we're talking about kidney disease, what are we talking about? So and when we're talking about failure, what are we talking about?
Yeah, kidney disease is anything damaging the kidney. And kidney failure is not reversible. It's completely gone. What you have lost, you will not get back. And in that case, most people start to have problems associated with their kidney not working, because the kidney, you know, ideally, if maybe you give me with a little time to, we are supposed to have 2 kidneys.
Okay, yes, yes.
When we are born, one on the left and one on the right. Unfortunately, in some cases, there are some people that were born with 1 kidney. And so that already put them at a disadvantage, you know, because what 2 things can do, if you were born with 1, because when they were being formed in the womb, one didn't form well, you know, and so that happens in up to maybe 5% of the population. And so those people already have a major disadvantage. So, but their kidney is still able to clear all the toxins, you know, toxins in our blood.
That one.
Yeah. And so usually, even with one kidney, you can still be able to live a whole normal life, even though you are at risk for disease, but you can still live a whole normal life. It's like driving with half of a full tank of a car. You know, you might still be able to get to your destination depending on how far your destination is, but the advantage is not like that when you have a full tank. And that is why people can donate one kidney, and if their kidney function is very, very good, and they can live a whole normal life. Even at childhood, there are some people that are born prematurely. And in those people that are born prematurely, they have two kidneys in many cases, but their kidney cells are not well divided as normal full-term babies. And so those people already also have a disadvantage. So they have normal kidney, but their kidney function will not be as good as a baby born at a normal term. And then as we grow older, the kidney just start to do the work of clearing the toxins. But the kidney, anytime there is any injury to the kidney, like you are maybe any illness or medications, some of the kidney cells die and you never get it back. But the others continue to do the work of the kidney.
And it does not regenerate.
It does not regenerate, yeah. Unlike the liver, the kidney does not have the ability to regenerate, yeah. And there's a famous Greek poetry about that, you know, where they say the liver regenerates, the kidney does not. Yeah. So, but the kidney, but because you have those tiny, tiny cells inside each kidney, you may lose even up to 25% of the cells, you know. But your blood is not bad because your blood tests are fine, because the remaining 75% keep doing the work until over 50% of the kidney cells die out. Before you start seeing people kidney function go down by the test that we use to measure their kidney functions. And then as you get to adulthood and as you get older, some of those cells start dying because of age, you know. And there's also a tendency for people to have high blood pressure, you know. And high blood pressure is like a two-way thing. It's high blood pressure can damage the kidney faster. And the faster the kidney gets damaged, the higher your blood pressure goes. So it's like a vicious circle. High blood pressure damages the kidney. The faster the kidney goes down, your blood pressure go high. You damage the kidney, then you just keep going.
So if one has high blood pressure now, it's imperative that that person takes good care of him or herself.
Yes.
Otherwise, other things may just happen.
Yes. A lot of studies have shown that I'm a professor of medicine, so I like to go with the studies. Not one person say or one person say. We go with what the study shows. Like when we look at over thousands of people, what are the findings? And when your blood pressure is more than 140/90, you are at 1.5 risk of further damage to your kidney than someone that their blood pressure is below 130/80. And so high blood pressure is one of the most major accelerants of kidney damage. And so that is why it's always imperative for people to recognize and manage their blood pressure.
So if it's well managed, at least you'll be rest assured that
there is no
the person may not come
additional
down
stress to damaging the kidney.
Okay.
Other causes of kidney things are also needed. You know,
please, let's look at those other causes of kidney problem or kidney disease.
In the US, hypertension and diabetes are the number 1 and number 2. Diabetes, because diabetes affect more Caucasians or white people's kidney than hypertension, whereas hypertension affects more black people's kidneys than diabetes. But diabetes is number 1 in the US and hypertension is number 2. In Nigeria, it's actually different because not many people with kidney problem have diabetes. Actually, many studies, especially even a recent study in University of Ilorin 2 years ago, was really showed among the people they looked at, you know, there was no strong correlation between diabetes. The number of people that have kidney function, very few of them have diabetes. Majority of them did have a very few had diabetes. Yeah, so diabetes is not as, it can damage the kidney, but it's not as common in terms of the major causes of damaging the kidney as well compared to hypertension. You know. And so for black people, even in my clinic in the US, I tell them, for a black person, you need to keep your blood pressure controlled. You need to check your blood pressure every day. You need to cut down on, take your medicine. You need to keep it down, otherwise you are going to end up on dialysis. But in Nigeria, we have a lot of infections, especially what we call parasitic infections or pathogens like malaria. Malaria is endemic in our country. Almost, you know, if you don't have malaria in a year, you are lucky.
You're lucky. Almost everybody comes down with malaria. And we see it as normal,
I would see it as normal, yeah. So malaria or itself, you know, can damage your kidney. Malaria can directly damage your kidney, can clog up the kidney vessels and give you reduced blood flow to the kidney. It can also damage your muscles, especially when you're having fever and shakes. That also clogs up your kidney. And then there is most people may have recurrent relapsing forms of malaria, what they call the chronic tertiary malaria, that can also chronically damage your kidney. There have been several reports of people that have chronic malaria that even for years, you know, because the malaria hypnozoids can be in your body for years, you know, slowly affecting you and can slowly be damaging your kidney. And they ended up with the dialysis from just malaria alone. Actually, there are some findings that you see when you biopsy people's kidney that tells you this is from malaria, you know. Even most of the medications that we use to treat malaria can damage the kidney. But the good thing is most times we just take them for a short period, you know, like you take them for like 3-4 days, you know, the chloroquine, the quinine, and then, so they don't really have a lot of time, but they can add insult to an already existing insult. And so the more you have malaria, the more you take these medicines, or the more you keep having malaria itself, there is always small, they are chipping away, you know, from your kidney function.
Unfortunately, there are some of us who have to treat malaria like 2-3 times in a month.
Yes.
So the danger is very high for such persons.
Yeah, not just the treatment, but the malaria itself, you know, is also going to increase your risk, you know. But that itself, you know, is not as a huge major risk compared to the hypertension. Because the malaria, you know, of course, you need to try to avoid getting malaria, but not much you can do with when you get malaria. You still have to treat it. Otherwise, malaria itself can kill you if you don't treat, you know. But if you have recurrent bouts of malaria, you have hypertension, you know, plus or minus diabetes, then your risk is way higher for kidney disease, you know. And then we also have to talk about, you know, herbal products, you know, or medications, you know, bleaching agents, you know, that contain mercury used to be one major cause of kidney failure. But now, most of the beauty products are not containing mercury, even though you still have most of these organic products that you really don't know what they contain, because the most effective ones are likely going to contain chemicals that are not recognized, because when you see some of these organic products, they have vitamin A, vitamin B, and that is all. But you know, vitamin A and vitamin B.
And a lot of us women run and use those products because we feel that they are organic, they are good, nothing is going to happen,
but most
no
people
side
are
effects
missing
and all
it,
of that.
Most people are missing it with different stuff, different chemicals, you know, different metal, heavy metals, we call them, that can damage your kidney. And they just stay there, destroy your kidney for years, and, you know, until the people go into kidney failure. Even some of these herbal products that we buy, because almost last time I was in Nigeria, I took a bus, and, you know, someone will get up and start talking about this agbo medicine can treat staphylococcus, can treat diabetes, can treat. I'm like, one medicine can treat all these diseases, but most of them they mix them with some strong alcohol, you know, what we call ethylene glycol and all those methanol, and those alcohol even can damage your kidney. Even heavy alcohol poisoning, like when you drink so much, can damage your kidney. Or when you drink chronically on a recurrent basis. You know, this can damage. So the cause of kidney failure in Nigeria really is more of multifactorial, not one thing. Multiple things layering on top of each other, and all of this will damage your kidney. And so what usually we tell our patients is, you know, check your kidney function regularly, you know, and then try to avoid things that you don't know what they contain, to the extent, you know, discuss even your creams with your doctor so that your doctor can do a search, look at the product, look at...
Maybe in America, where you come from, that will work. You don't expect me to go to a store, get cream, and then take it to my doctor to say, doctor, or the dermatologist, or anybody say, please check the composition of this, That's why a lot of problems are going on. Now let's look at, we're looking at kidney failure, societal and environmental impact of this. Now let's look at our immediate environment, because we've talked of diabetes, we've talked about hypertension, malaria, that a lot of us see as common. Know it today that it is not common. And when you have malaria or anybody around you, please don't do self-medication, because the very first thing we do is self-med. Just get some drugs, and then before you know what is happening, you're killing yourself without even knowing. Now let's look at our immediate society, the environment, how it impacts our kidney. You just talked about all these agbo without us knowing the composition. That's one of the reasons. Now, what are other things that we can put our hands on to say, okay, this and this should be avoided, or this and this we should continue doing?
So, I was rightly saying, this causes more of like looking at the things that cause all these things.
All these things.
Hypertension itself today, it's very prevalent especially in our society.
We don't even know.
So many of us don't even know.
Don't know.
And I tell you this, Adesua, many years ago when we were medical students in the University of Benin, I think we were in our year 4, year 5. We started our clinicals and we were all like playing and checking our blood pressure. Could you believe, of the 10 people in my subgroup, 4 of us, and then we were in our teens, maybe like 19, 20, maybe 21, let me not exaggerate. Maybe, yeah, we were probably older because of the strike, maybe 21, 22. 4 of us have high blood pressure.
Wow.
And we like, oh, it wasn't correct. Okay, you check it again, you check it again. And these 4 people continuously, persistently have elevated blood pressure of over 140 over 90 then, because that was the cutoff of hypertension then. And so, because hypertension itself, there's a huge genetic component, meaning, your parents, the kind of genes that your parents make up, and the sensitivity of some of your chromosomes, and to salt itself, can make people high blood pressure high. But outside of that, the societal factors, or the environmental factors, the insecurity in Nigeria alone is enough to give you high blood pressure.
It is enough.
Every time, even when as a house officer in UBTH then, to drive home in the night because of the lack of light and the high fear that
we have light in most places now, thanks to our governor. We have light in most places. At least in most sport areas.
In most sport
areas, there are lights. You can drive freely.
So this huge anxiety, because anxiety is a major, or stress, which is a major contributor. The uncertainties of some of our regulatory policies, fear is this one day, the next day is this, and you are trying to make some meat, you are fighting for, and I think the doctors are on strike now, or the resident doctors are on strike or something.
They are on strike.
And so these uncertainties, builds anxiety. And then the higher the anxiety, the tendency for your blood pressure to be persistently high. And so these are some of the environmental factors that are contributing to damage to the kidney.
You can't stop a man from thinking. When you look at what is happening in our society today, you buy fuel for as much as 600, some 590, thereabout. It's enough. A lot of persons don't drive. I'm sure when we were driving to our station, the road was very free, unlike those who said, okay, leave early because you're going to get stuck in this point or at that point, but it's not like that.
It's not like that anymore.
Things are happening.
Also, the other things like insecurity, again, also contribute to hypertension. Regulations, such as how tough are the major drug regulatory agencies, in preventing people from getting access to drugs that are actually tested and approved by the agency. What are the crackdown on these street sellers that are selling all these agbo products and destroying people's kidney free of, well, technically not free of charge because you actually pay for it.
And there's a proliferation of agbo sellers everywhere. Every corner you look at, you see 10, 15 of them, and
it's
no security agency or agent is at hand to apprehend these people or ask them questions. Yes.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. I think every Nigerian is doing it.
Yeah, and I think crack down on these street sellers of all these stuff, all this unregulated stuff, we go a long way into mitigating this risk for chronic kidney disease. And then you also have to deal with policies, government policies, like what is the government, what has the government really done, for like in treating hypertension and those
that's
things.
Government intervention.
Government intervention, and so these are all areas that I feel our society is failing the community by not providing these safeguards, that will reduce your risk. And also, there are some medications, literally every medication you can just walk to a chemist and buy. It shouldn't be that. Medications should be restricted. Some medications should be restricted to an appropriate prescriber who is going to weigh the risk and the benefit of such drug and discuss it with you before deciding, okay, we want to do a drug that potentially can affect my kidney. And not just go and buy any medicine and not know what the side effect is and take it at a dose that is not even recommended. I sent someone to help me get mefloquine once from a pharmacy, and the person came back with quinine. And the dosing was for, take 2 on day 1 and then 1 every day, which is not the same way you give quinine, that you are giving mefloquine. So this unregulated system of practice in the society is actually doing more harm than good. A lot of people may argue free access to medication reduce the cost of healthcare. Yes, but what are the people getting? Do they know what they are getting? Do they know the dosing? Do they know what is the right thing for it? And so these are things that our society is not really properly addressing.
So what do you think should be done? Let us look at what do you think should be the best way to intervene in all of this so that we can have our sanity?
Yeah, I think it all starts from, in terms of, I will put it this way. I will say it all starts from one, enhancing the laws that are already governing regulation of medications, especially like NAFDAC, like maybe NAFDAC needs to buckle up and maybe introduce more innovative interventions to minimize, or restrict sales of anything medicinal in value or in property. And also, I also feel our local state government, probably need to try to see ways, because this is why I tell you this, in the US, when someone is diagnosed with kidney failure, the people still live an average of more than 3 years because dialysis is free based on since 1965, based on the rules they've introduced with Medicare, so with Medicare, which is this universal coverage for people that are older than 65 or those with kidney failure or cancer, you get free access to dialysis, whether you have insurance or not. It covers dialysis. But in Nigeria today, and this was one of the bane of practicing as or my interest in nephrology in UBTH, with the way it is today, you don't have cheap access to dialysis. Dialysis is very costly. If the government can set up like a primary hypertension clinic that is free for the populace, as well as a dialysis unit that is even offering like dialysis once a week for people, we can improve the life expectancy of people with kidney failure. And also, why we're not doing things like financial reimbursement for people that are going for transplant, because transplant is very expensive. Not too many people can afford transplant.
Doctor, I'm sure that someday we will get there, and that's why we're doing all of this advocacy on air. This is the point where I say thank you, though we didn't wrap up, but time is not a friend. We'll find time to do this again soon. This is where I'm going to say thank you, Dr. Ebima, or Professor Ebima, for finding time to be with us here on the program. You've heard it all. The need for you to be very careful what you do, what you drink, where you drink it, and how you drink it, and the kind of medication you use is imperative for you and your kidney. Thank you so much for finding time to be with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, our time is fast spent. We're going to see you again soon. Bye-bye.